Why are you not charged? I mean, you're charged. I mean, Aaron's had this thing charged. It'll last. It's just you're one blip down. It's kind of rainy. I don't think I'm going to be pulling this thing out until I get to Hilversum. I don't think the rain's going to last because the clouds are just flying by. And before, this window had the like rain streaks on it, but now it's like we can see through it. So the rain is off and on. So we'll see how everything goes out in Hilversum. We are having practice today. I'm not going to name any names, but I kind of know who they are. So I'm just going to say this. For those folks that weren't there on Sunday's practice and heard that we might cancel practice, Mark has actually said so. And then nobody really volunteered until, what was that, 6 o'clock last night? And we only had 7 people still registered for practice using the Bend Air or I'll Be There or yada yada. And then in the course of like 2 or 3 hours, went from like 7 people up to 16. Because we had a small threat of canceling practice, so people started checking in. I'm like, you should do that of your own volition. Like, come on, guys. We shouldn't have to. You want to come to practice, but we gotta nudge you to do so. If you work, and you know it. Like, I understand during stormy weather, some people that work in like Felix, who doesn't come to practice, but like last year when we were having heavy storms coming through, he was on train because he works for the rail. So he would have to go out and randomly fix an outage and couldn't come to practice, or he would say, I'll be later. Totally okay. Denny works with cell phone towers. Totally understandable. But he always says, oh dude, we're, heavy storing dienst, service outages. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But some people just never show up. They just don't say that they're going to be there, but they don't say they won't. But then again, if we have people say they won't be there. Anyways, I'm just bored and I'm taking up a little bit of time on the video because I don't know how much I'm going to record outside of the rain. And then let alone later when it's super dark. All right. One of the interesting things about having such a flat country is the fact that there are no mountains to like make sure that the rain happens. So you can have ridiculously thick, dark, gray clouds all over the place and just not a drop of rain for like a solid 30 minutes because they don't need to lighten their load. But they are dark enough. I mean, look at those. That is not showing them up very well. They look super dark to me. I mean, the fact that all the street lights are on. But yeah, so, Sunday practice is probably going to happen. However, I'll be able to get to practice just fine. They're doing work on the tracks probably somewhere around Vasp. Or a little before. Probably, well, not at, anyways. Because between Mouterport and Vasp is a bus. But I'm no longer bound to Mouterport. I can go from Central. So I now have a way to get to Thursday practice that involves me leaving a heck of a lot earlier and going through Joud and taking it intercity from there. That's cool. How do I get back? I go the same way I do coming back on Sundays, kind of. I'll figure it out. But yeah, so we'll see what's going on at practice. Starting to rain, or is that just the wind and the leaves? I feel super sneezy today, and I don't know why. I mean, I took an allergy medication because I was sneezed like 4 times a day, and I didn't want to have now it's like I'm not sneezing, but I have the itch to sneeze, and it makes me kind of think like maybe I should have taken an extra dose of antihistamine or something like that. bus coming today? I'm like super early because the guy was rocketing around the corner. Like I'm probably gonna get to the field at like 6:20 or 7:20 or something like that. Okay, there's a wonderfully stiff breeze out right now, so I actually don't have much in my backpack because I actually have my leggings and my girdle and my pants and my jog pants on. Like I'm wearing 4 layers right now, and it's like I'm surprised the camera's not picking up the breeze. But it's one of those that's like it's really cold, so it's just like, and if I weren't wearing my jog pants, it would be coming right, like it's good for football, especially around your calves, to have that. But, so, apparently, on more reflection, I did not come to practice in the greatest of moods. I had already been pretty high on anxiety this week. Plus all the varying test results and stuff. So that's fun. And then I started getting a little lightheaded around karaoke's because I tried to push myself. I went around one and a half times, and then I started getting kind of I can't do it right now, but when you get really out of breath and you start having that that was happening. And so I did warm-ups, but by that point I hadn't really caught much of my breath and calmed everything down. So by karaoke's, I was getting a little dizzy, and then my anxiety started getting super high because I was so dizzy I couldn't necessarily be doing push-ups. And that started the engine of anxiety. To be fair, it was probably already running, but it's sort of like doing the push-ups and failing at push-ups. Because sometimes and so dizzy and like not hearing stuff. And then we went to Indies, and I got in a nice stance and hit one of our linemen pretty hard because they were going up against a double team thing, and that's fun. Doing double teams is great. And so, but it's more for offensive line to work with getting their double team synchronized. So they were just go push it forward as hard as you can, and apparently I did. But high in anxiety, and so something happened. It felt like my shin pad got a little awkward, like knocked off, but it's a Zenith helm, so that doesn't actually happen. And then, and then my right ear started ringing, which is very atypical, because usually it's my left ear that rings a lot. And that started getting me a little worried, and I started getting in my head, and man, I fucked something up, and one thing led to another, and pretty soon I wasn't doing things right, and I pulled 2 linemen straight to the ground, and I wasn't getting low enough. I thought I was getting low enough. One thing compounded onto another. I was already high on anxiety, and it just broke. And I was trying to keep myself controlled, and usually how it happens is someone asks, "How are you doing?" And and my little sinful truth teller came out and says, "Well, you know what? Everything's going real good. I'm just fucking failing today." And it was sort of like when you get that little crack in the ground and the light pierces out of it, except this was like your anxiety demon. And so my anxiety demon started creeping out, and I was like, like it was like I couldn't keep myself controlled, so I kept trying to stuff it back in and stuff it back down, because it is not the place to lose complete control. I've done that before at football practice, and I've done it at the Cobras. I did it here. I did it at the Cobras twice. And I did it here once, and I always feel bad after it, so I stopped for a little while so that I didn't lose control. So, yeah. So, and then I talked with one of the coaches for a little while. Well, he was having a smoke break, and that's when we saw the cops roll by. The cops rolling by because they're checking. They don't know we're here, but they're still rolling around checking to see that there isn't, because they know that there are sport fields here, and this is Dashric Sport Park. So they come through the sport park, and if we had had like the full team, everybody here at practice, we probably would have got a fine, real big fine. So when the cops are patrolling at 9:30 at night, you know shit's about to get real. And I'm gonna say this now, I don't watch a lot of the news because it's in Dutch and teammates understand, so they tell me a little bit more, and so things are getting super bad here. Not as bad as the United States, just saying, but the government doesn't want to have anything. Like I saw something on Twitter today was, why are we not closing the school? Why are we not closing the school? I forget what the hashtag was. But yeah, so Sunday we may have a surprise at practice, if we can even make it to practice. Looks like we're starting to play everything year by year. And when we were told that, when Marcus said that, you know, about we have to cherish every practice that we get, I was already kind of on my anxiety. And then like I had a weird, like I flashed back to March, and like if they shut everything down, it's just going to be like that fear of desolation again, and not knowing what to do. And you know, if the gym shuts down and the practices shut down, it's just, I think that's kind of what got into my head, is I'm not doing so well to begin with, and the few things that I do have may be snatched away from me. And that's probably a good sign, saying, you know, you should probably, you know, find some more things to do. But yeah, well, that's the entire walk back to the bus. I gotta wait till like 22:44 till the bus comes, so I get to eat my Kinder Mix and my thing. We did wind up going to team for a little while, so you know, I went out and was at Mike linebacker, but it wasn't much. We didn't have many people here. We had one of our DBs working as a receiver, because we had one receiver here today. 2 running backs, 1 actual receiver. So I think I just looked at that lady's clock inside her kitchen accidentally, and it's like 10:20. Fuck. I have 20 minutes to wait.